Hi, my name is Andre Duncan. I'm the owner-operator of Ashton-Knox Custom Homes Incorporated here in Greenville, North Carolina. I've been living in Greenville for approximately 5 years. I moved here to complete my studies at East Carolina University as part of the construction management department. Loved it here, so ended up staying with my wife and 3 children. Greenville is special to me because it kind of reminds me of home. I'm from a small town in Little Island by the name of Jamaica. You might have heard of it. I came here. I moved to Greenville from a big city, being Tampa. So I kind of wanted a slower pace and something that I could kind of relax a little bit more and be able to enjoy my family and kids a little bit more. Well, it is very different. The culture obviously is way different. Regardless of it being Greenville, it's still way more fast-paced than growing up on an island. Obviously, a lot more slow, a lot more relaxing, so to speak, than America in general. But there are a lot of comparisons. The people are friendly here in Eastern North Carolina in general. Same likewise back home in Jamaica. It's good and bad. So sometimes or most of the times you take the good with the bad, but more so good than anything else here in Greenville. So there are a lot of similarities, and the similarities lie with the people more so than anything else. Well, it's always been a passion of mine, construction and design and architecture. I have a few friends in town here who are in the building trade, and a few who are contractors also. I myself, studied the trade here for a couple years before I went off on my own. I just kind of wanted to express myself in my own way with my own ideas and bring something fresh as far as I'm concerned, obviously, and just finding a different way of expressing myself through art and construction and architecture, which is what I love to do. In my opinion, every construction company, especially in Greenville, has their own way of doing things, and for the most part, get along great with all the guys that I know in the industry, so to speak. But I think that as far as I'm concerned, I try to bring much of an island vibe when it comes to not only the building part, but the customer relation. I am a person who is very in tune with what people think of me and my character. So that's one of the biggest things that appeal to people that I deal with on a regular basis. My clients and future clients, do appreciate the fact that I'm very approachable, and it's something I love to do. So I care about my brand, and it's really never about me. It's about kind of building my brand and putting that in the forefront rather than myself, so to speak. So a lot of that comes from my military career. I did serve 6.5 years, or 7.5 years, sorry, in the U.S. Army. So a lot of that was behind the scenes work, and not so much limelighting myself, but working on a team and kind of focusing on making others better and making other people's lives better, and kind of just growing as a person during the process. So that's a big part of what makes me different, or what I think makes me different. I think we all strive to be good people, and we all strive to take care of families, but we all have our own individual way of doing things. So that's mine. Well, it's kind of funny and backwards, but I look at it as more of a interdependent relationship between myself and my subcontractors. Much of the guys that I work with now, kind of started the same time frame I started. So we kind of knew each other from before, we each individually started our businesses. So we're kind of growing, much of us are kind of growing together. And then obviously we have, I work with people who have been seasoned in the business for a really long time. But we've developed relationships that's kind of a little bit closer than just working relationships. So you know, the big brother type relationships that, you know, you could really lean on people when you have questions that's not gonna kind of shun you or look at you in a differently, you know. So relationship building, you know, in the military we call it winning the hearts and minds. So a big part of what makes my team is really learning to depend on each other, because I always joke with my friends that, you know, I'm not really a builder, I'm a home organizer. You know, the people, the builders are the guys who actually show up every day and put the sticks and bricks together and kind of make it work, you know. So I just kind of lead and you know, take lead and take advice, really, more so than anything else. You know, I do pride myself in being a great leader, and I could kind of relate that back to my military career. I was a sergeant at a pretty young age in the Army, so I had no choice but to learn different leadership techniques, and while also taking a lot of advice at the same time, because I was a pretty young non-commissioned officer. So I think I've taken that into my business career, where not necessarily leading from the back, but leading with people beside me, moving at the same pace, you know. So I think that my team in particular, that's pretty much how I view myself as a leader of a team, so to speak, and how I'm able to be so successful in what I do. On my work day.
Yes.
So my work day is pretty hectic, but I do enjoy the challenge. Anybody in construction really will tell you that no 2 days are alike. So it's very flexible. The one thing's for sure is I do average about 500, you know, 100 phone calls a day. That's one thing that hasn't really wavered too much, but as far as what my day looks like, you know, a day in the life of a builder pretty much comprises of a lot of problem solving. Something always comes up. There's always something that you have to address, and there's always something unexpected that happens on a very regular basis. But I offer a pretty turnkey process, and one of the things that I value in a client, which obviously is just gonna sound crazy, but to me it's a two-way interview, because the building process can be hectic if, you know, the relationship isn't meant to be. And, you know, everybody's relationships or everybody's personalities are different. So obviously, you know, I'm big on identifying what personalities people have and how that meshes with mine. That way we could ensure that the process is an enjoyable process. So, you know, I do offer a consultation, which is at no cost. So it's, you know, like I said before, I'm pretty much a, you know, low-key and laid-back kind of guy, which in the business world might not sound good, but that's just who I am. So, you know, the consultation itself is more of a no-pressure consultation for whatever stage you may be in wanting to build your dream house. Maybe you dreamt about it last night and you have no idea what to do. You know, I'm still here. You call me. We could go over the process. I could explain to you in more detail what you have to do. So a generic or a standard consult would probably go something like, you know, have you looked at, or what plans do you like? What kind of style do you like? What fits you? What suits you? What are you scared of in the building process? What have you heard that you know might scare you away from wanting to build? And, you know, what kind of myths or truths or facts that you think you might have that I could answer to make you feel more comfortable about moving forward in terms of like exploring your options. So that would obviously be answered by myself, and then we would kind of go into narrowing down what kind of plans or layouts or size you would need, which would obviously be based on your budget. One of the biggest things with cutting down are cutting to the point, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, knowing what you could get for what you have. So the first thing you would need before we actually put pen to paper would be a pre-approval letter from a bank stating how much you would be qualified for, what kind of house you could, what you would be qualified for, which would determine what kind of house you could get. So that would lead to anything from finding you a piece of land, or you already have a piece of land bought and ready to go, or clearing a piece of land, which I would help you through that process as well. And then obviously the loan process, the building process is probably a whole nother episode. But it usually takes anywhere from 4 to 8 months to build a house, depending on the size and detail of it. I do pride myself with detail. I'm very detail oriented. I do have an architecture degree, so I am more for the arts in the building world, more so than the business side of things. So I do pay attention more to space and how things flow. So that's another thing that I kind of pride myself in. And then obviously there's the end process in which you close and move into your beautiful home. At that point, the relationship would still continue. I do have a 1-year builder's warranty. That is also required by the state or governing aid board. During that year period of time, I have a 1-month warranty check where we come back and make sure all your doorknobs are straight, your house is settling properly, anything we may have missed, which is not uncommon in the building world, and just kind of fine-tuning the house, so to speak. Then we have a 6-month process. And then there's a 1-year warranty walkthrough, at which point we would do introduce you to any service agreements and so forth that you might need to sign for the maintenance of your house throughout time. Well, doubt is natural. It's something that if you don't have, you don't really care for yourself. So it's okay to be doubtful, but it's also okay to be very courageous. One story that is true in my life is I moved to this country when I was 17 years old with $200 in my pocket and not really knowing where I wanted to go. So as far as being able to dream and being able to succeed or live your dream, there's no better place to do it than United States of America, because I was raised in a country other than the United States of America, and I've been around the world. With my military background and so forth, and I could say from from a very strong position that I'm a believer in whatever your dreams are, they are attainable. All you have to do is take the first step. Now you as an individual, everybody is different. You as an individual have to figure out what that first step is. But it is a big step. It's scary, but at the same time, I think you have to believe in yourself first before you could get anybody else to believe in you. So if you're not willing to take that step, then nobody else is going to be willing to do that for you. I have a few friends of mine, Jay at Villa Verde being one of them, who is also from the islands, and we share, similar stories, so to speak. I myself, I'm a restaurant owner. I do own a Jamaican restaurant as well. So, it's one of those things where, you have to be courageous and you have to be brave. I wouldn't say I'm more courageous or brave than anybody else. You just have to have that spirit and that drive to put your mind to wanting to do something and take that chance, because I tell my kids all the time, and young kids that I do mentor, I coach flag football. You can be anything you want to be in this country, and I've always believed in that. I was raised, in Jamaica, obviously, being taught that I could be what I wanted to be. I could be anything I wanted to be, but that's not even really the main thing. The main thing is whatever you want to be. My parents always told me this, and my grandparents, whatever you do choose to be, even if it's a garbage man, which they do get paid very well actually. but you know, whatever it is you want to be or you choose to be, make sure or attain to be the very best at it. You know, but in the meantime, be humble and know that if you haven't taught, you haven't really succeeded in what you want to do. So teaching someone else what you've learned over your lifetime is way more important to your success and your legacy than your success and legacy itself. So, you know, also people who have, and that goes to people who have been there and have attained it, you know, just kind of making sure you're giving back to the people, you know, who are trying to make it and need advice and need guidance. So my door is always open. You know, I speak to people at least once a week on business and you know, how to conduct yourself in business, how to start a business, what you need to do, the steps you need to take, who to talk to. I'm an open book as far as that's concerned because, you know, it's something I'm very passionate about in the community.